Well, hello there. We are counting down to the presidential elections. Major headlines have taken the center stage and are not leaving out the fake news jostling for attention as well. And how about the keyboard warriors tweeting from side to side with messages coming in different shades? How about the unending samurai battle between the opposition and the incumbent? And the one question that keeps coming up is, when will this venomous battle end? And we are talking about the presidential debate. You want to have a feel of it? Come with me. My name is Marco Tabo, and you are watching The Big Issue. I love this energy right here. Thank you very much. Now, days ago, two contending presidential candidates boycotted debates. Now, Nigerians were aggravated. While some felt it was a slap and a total disrespect, others felt debates don't determine the outcome of the elections, and it is not necessary. Now, one question we are going to be asking is very simple. Should presidential debates be backed by law? Exactly. That is the question on the front burner. I hope you all are ready for this moment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. As you all know, the usual fashion, we have two amazing debaters that will be taking a stand right here. First on my list, I have Yemi Adamolekun. Come on, put your hands together for her, right there. Now, she is the executive director of Enough is Enough Nigeria, a coalition of individuals promoting the culture of good governance in Nigeria. Come on, put your hands together once again. You're welcome. Nice to meet you. Welcome. And of course, on the other side of the divide is an amazing gentleman. His name is Ambrose Igboke. Come on, Ambrose, take the stand right here. Come on, that applause is not loud enough. Now, Ambrose Igboke is a well-grounded political analyst. He is saying election debates should not be backed by law. Now, this is really going to be interesting. Now, very quickly, in no particular order, most times it has to do with ladies first, though. I think I would ignore you a bit and face him. Now, you, Ambrose, nice meeting you.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Good. Now, you are saying the presidential debate should not be backed by law. I don't understand why you would think such an innovative move that should have come through, you know, a particular terrain to have people understand why they should be in governance. I mean, this is something that would inspire people to understand who is really coming to lead them. But now you're saying it shouldn't be backed by law, meaning it should not even hold in it in the first place. What is your argument?
Well, I would like to go downtown to the streets. There's a language they use. Who debates help? That's the general language that is being used. And I would like to use one universal dictum when it comes to law. They said the law was made for man, not man for the law. So if man refuses to obey the law or implement the law, then the law becomes a nullity. It doesn't work. So how many laws do we have in Nigeria? So many laws. Our constitution is replete with beautiful laws. We have bylaws from the National Assembly. We have all kinds of presidential directive, gazetted laws and other things in our land. How many of them are being obeyed? So it is not the law. It is the people who are supposed to obey the law. And our electoral act is replete with wonderful phrases that are supposed, when we follow our electoral law the way it is today, it will give us the best election anywhere in the world.
Okay, but you're in support of campaigns.
Well, of course, you must campaign for the people to know who you are.
But you understand that during campaign, people just make promises, they say what they want to say, but people don't have opportunities to ask questions during campaigns.
How many Nigerians are represented in a debate hall? How many Nigerians are represented in a debate hall? And most of the debates we see in Nigeria are just what we Nigerians call arranging things.
You think so?
Of course.
Well, come on. All right, Yemi, you've been championing good governance for a very long time, and it's very obvious you're supporting the motion that debates should be backed by law. Now, as a matter of fact, I would take you up on this very quickly. You see, leadership sometimes is beyond oratory.
Yes.
You know, and as a matter of fact, you know, some people don't have that gift.
True.
There are certain individuals that can talk their way through anything. True. Now, are you sure we're not going to be stuck with people who just talk? They say talk is cheap.
Indeed.
And people can really talk. Now, if we decide to stick with that ideology that debates should be backed by law, are you sure we're not going to end up with talkatives and guys that will not be able to do anything when they get there?
Well, I think I'll start with Mr. Igboke's point around
Okay.
who debates help and the notion that debates are RNGs. Yeah, the audience might not be a lot, but that's the whole idea of broadcast. That's the whole idea of television. That's the whole idea of radio. Beyond television, more Nigerians listen to their radios. So if you put the debate in a format that people understand, and it's not even just the audience that people talk about, it's also language. Debates are usually in English. But if you translate to Yoruba, translate to Hausa, translate to Igbo, translate to Pidgin, and provide more access to Nigerians, then it's not just about those who are in the hall, but it's also about those who can hear outside. Now, to your question around talkatives.
Yes.
Because it's not just about what you say. It
Okay.
also provides an opportunity for you to hold people accountable. And as with anything in life, debates are not things you just show up for. You get prepared. So that's also part of it. Being prepared to be able to answer questions, being prepared to do your research.
What if I just want to prepare to please the people? Because, look, people prepare for interviews.
Indeed.
They prepare for job
Job
interviews.
interviews,
Job
exactly.
interviews.
Yeah.
People prepare for auditions when
Yeah.
it has to do with my kind of job right now. You have to go to an audition and they have to screen you to know if you're fit to actually hold that microphone down.
Yeah.
Anybody could prepare for a debate and say, look, I need to tell these people what they need to hear. What if we're stuck with such kind of people? How do we, understand that these guys are about to push us into a ditch that we might never come out from?
But that's the whole beauty of a debate. You don't debate by yourself. The very mode of a debate allows you to be challenged. So let's say all three of us were debating.
Okay.
And I say something now that the people want to hear. For example, we're debating minimum wage, right?
All right.
Okay. So instead of 30,000, I say, if I become president, I will pay every worker 100,000 naira. Everybody cheers. And then you tell me, as in sort of your rebuttal, but where would that 100,000 naira come from? And then you break down the budget, how it is impractical. That actually not even practical, that's impossible because Nigeria just doesn't have the money. So yeah, you can sweet talk your way, but the beauty of the debate is that if your other co-debaters are better prepared, they can challenge you.
Ambrose, you heard her. She said, apparently, if debates happen, we get to understand where the vision is headed. You are saying who debate help, but she's saying debate can actually help because whoever is standing there will be scrutinized. Are you sure you still want to hold this motion?
Well, I'm holding the motion down. The question is, the crux of the matter is whether debates should be backed by law.
Yes.
Not whether debates are good or not.
Okay.
Okay.
Debates are good. So let's not get it mixed up.
We agree on that one.
We agree on that one. But whether it should be backed by law, no. We don't need law. Do you need law to brush your teeth in the morning? You don't need laws. So,
But Ambrose, but you know that debates are way beyond just brushing.
no,
your
what
teeth.
we are saying, why I use that metaphor is that good things are good. So you don't need law to back good things. But typical of our attitude as Nigerians, we don't want to follow processes. When you talk of debates, in the way it is good for the process of election. But whether it should back by law is a waste of time to start enacting law on debates.
Fantastic. Now, days ago, there was a controversy. Keyboard warriors came very heavy on Twitter everywhere talking about what happened with the last presidential debate.
Yeah.
Now, two contending candidates didn't show up. More like they called it bluff. Come on.
Yes.
I don't have to be there.
Yes.
Was it a right signal they were sending by backing out of a crucial moment such as that? Because Nigerians were waiting and all the other candidates were there. Why did they decide not to show up? And are you standing here to tell me that that was the right thing to do?
Well, there's a rightness and wrongness about morality, not about the law.
There you go again.
Now, yes, it's not about the law.
Okay.
So now, they were not there, but the APC presidential candidate was somewhere is it Jos or somewhere, and there was a mammoth crowd of thousands of people.
Okay.
So you now know where do Nigerians want, the debate or the stadium? They prefer the stadium, of course. And in that stadium, they were represented by all the grassroots and they heard the message, even though the stadium became rather and they will not be able to put. Again, election messages are supposed to be, that we call voter education, are supposed to cascade down to the grassroots through voter education, especially the job of INEC,
I hope you're taking
the
notes.
job of National Orientation Agency, and the work of the grassroots politicians who go from the ward to ward educating the people on how to vote. Now, National Orientation Agency is dead. That is their work to educate the people and know what they're supposed to do at every election. This 2019 election preparation, INEC has been very low on voter education, so I score them poor on that.
You score them poor.
On
Okay,
that.
let me hold you on that. Now, still on INEC, debate issues, and of course, as a matter of fact, has to do with the responsibility of INEC. INEC is the solely in charge of anything elections, but there is no provision in their law that says a debate is compulsory. So is it not just okay to say, fine, let's just pass?
Okay, well, it's not in their law, but the whole idea of developing new laws is because we see a gap, and that's where people are pushing for it. But let me take him back. He says what is good indeed. It is not good to sleep with a 5-year-old girl. It is not good to rape someone. It is not good to beat up your wife. It is not good to drive down a one-way street facing traffic. But people do it. That's why we have laws. So laws are not because we don't know what we need to do. It's because laws need to shape how we behave, and that's why we have laws. So I hear you that laws might not necessarily be needed, but in certain circumstances, and us particularly in developing countries, for the simple reason the analogy you gave about the stadium. Yes, people want stadiums. Why? Because we come, we dance, everybody is in either PDP gear or APC gear, there's music, but you don't hear anything. Your candidate speaks for maybe 2 minutes. Then what? So the idea of a debate is that it forces the candidates to have conversations with Nigerian citizens, not in an atmosphere of partying, because this is a serious matter. You're ruling the largest black nation.
You heard her correctly.
Yeah, I like it.
She said it doesn't have to be that large crowd, because a large crowd, in actual fact, whatever you're saying, just will be going bonkers in the air, and nobody might just be able to hold it down. Now she's saying communication, one-on-one. Debates should be backed by law because law shapes the society. You saw the example she gave.
Yes.
So how do you respond?
Those laws are founded, the example she gave are fundamental code of conduct, social behavior of the society that has been there even from the customary laws before we came with these laws. So those cannot be compared with the debate is a fringe aspect of the election. It's not the core of electoral campaigning and electioneering in Nigeria, anywhere in the world. So that is why it is left by choice. Because the party is held responsible not by what you say in the debate, but what is contained in your official manifesto. That is what the party is held accountable for. So you can say all the things you want to say in a debate. You can sweet talk anybody. But if you don't have it on a document, your manifesto is your covenant with the people you are asking them for their votes.
Take the card reader. It had to be put into law. Otherwise, people will say that we won't use it. But we do need to have it in law. So there is a process. Now, for debates in Nigeria, if it's not in law, maybe in 8 years, or maybe 12 years, maybe 16 years, the pressure will now make it so important. But Nigerians are saying that, look, we think this is important. And because we know our politicians will do what they do best, which is not really care, let us, in a sense, railroad them, to use your word, to do what we think is best for us, provide an opportunity that where you must come and defend what it is you want to say. Because fundamentally, a debate is not just about talking. It's about your co-debaters challenging you, but it's more fundamentally about your preparedness. Because you have to come and say, when they ask you about health, you need to understand the health challenges in Nigeria and have a solution for it. That's the whole essence of it. And those who would vote are listening and say, I like what Mr. Igboukwe said. Nah, I think Yemi, I like her plan better.
All right, fantastic. Now, come on. now, she just made a point now.
Yes.
That co-debaters would have an opportunity to challenge the candidates. And there, you get to see a bit of some kind of knowledge sharing while they're trying to pass across their message. Now, do you have any question for Yemi?
No, I don't have a question for you, but the question I want to ask her, how many Nigerians listen to your debate? Because there are statistics to show.
You didn't let her answer.
Wait. There's a caveat to the question.
All right.
There are statistics. The question is, it's not a question for her to answer, basically. But when you look at this thing, there are some idealistic things that are very good on paper. But I'm a pragmatist. And as a pragmatist and a realist, I test every idea on the altar of reality. And when you do a reality check on Nigerians, you find out that at this point in time, we don't need to pass a law for debate. So that means there's something wrong with our politicians. So there's something wrong with the people political parties throw up as candidates. And that is why they don't see any reason for debates. So we should start from the root, because passing the electoral law that says that you must debate is the system Nigeria has been treating our problems that kept us where we are. Symptomatic treatment. We treat symptoms and we don't go to the root causes. Why will candidates not see a need to debate? Because the system is something wrong with us as a people. First of all, for you to come up as a candidate, so the political parties, how were they formed? Who is funding it? Who are the people that are throwing up? Is it the tout in the motor park that comes out and says, I want to be local government chairman? So for lots of us who are learned and sit behind the TV and think that debate is what makes people listen to the election, go to the town hall meetings, go to Oshodi, go to Ojo Elegba, go to where people are gathered, go to Alimosho and see where the real thing is happening. Where people are listening to local government chairman, they are listening to their party chairman. Those are the people that made the decision. Those are the people that vote, not the people that will sit down and watch TV on election morning.
All right. Now, you heard his point. He said at a point, the system is faulty. The foundation is very, very shaky. So you cannot really emphasize debates backed by law when in reality, it's those on the streets that actually do a lot of this voting. Now, how do you respond to that quickly?
But I think, just as with anything in society, nothing is mutually exclusive. So because your political party structure is faulty, doesn't mean you can't put laws in place to try to bridge those gaps.
But he's saying this is a general thing.
No, but I'm saying that. So the fact that instead of saying just focus on the political parties and restructure them, I'm saying you can focus on the political parties and restructure them and put in a law in place that allows, because ultimately the law is for the benefit of the majority of Nigerians. Look, my organization has organized 16 debates since 2011. We're the only civil society organization that has done that. And what have we found since 2011? Greater increase. But once you allow Nigerians to be part of that conversation and they can hear their questions being asked, they can hear answers in languages that make sense to them, then they can say, this is important to me. But in addition to that is the point you made around voter education and civic education. So they go hand in hand because you're telling voters that these are the things to pay attention to. The money that gets allocated is important for education, for health. Pay attention to who is saying what. Do you want your children to go to school for free? Do you want to have access to healthcare? So by the time you're doing voter education on that part, then they watch the people debate. Then we're not, just as you say that we're not animals, we're not stupid either. We know a good thing when we see it. So when we hear candidates pitch well, we know who to vote for.
Fantastic. Come on, we have put your hands together once again. Now, Yemi, you did say that you guys have been in this whole scheme for over 16 years now, and the successes has been very amazing. Yeah. He's sticking with his ideology as a realist. Now, as a realist right now, holding on to what he wants to hold on to, you might have a question for him.
I do. And just to clarify, we've done this for 8 years, and we've done 16 debates. Okay. But my question is, because you are anchoring your position seemingly on the fact that debates are elitist conversations. So I'm telling you, if the conversation as a debate is provided in languages that more Nigerians can understand, does it still make it an elitist construct?
It doesn't make it an elitist construct. The two leading contenders boycotted the debates. Doesn't that send you a message? If they know that if they boycott that debate, that they will it will have greater impact on the election, that they may lose the election. Do you think they won't come for the debate?
Over time.
They will come. But over the years, we have found out that even people didn't attempt a debate are the ones that win. The first question I want to ask you is this. If the foundation of a house is faulty, no matter the cosmetic decorations you do on top, will that house stand?
No.
So, our electoral process is faulty.
But
so, no matter the debate you paint the debate, it will solve the problem.
You know what a debate does? A debate forces you to have a conversation with people that will vote. That's part of the faultiness. Hold on. That's part of the faultiness of our electoral process. Because candidates feel that they can get away with it. And citizens are saying, you know what? The best way we think that we can hold these guys accountable of is if there's a law.
No, we are getting things wrong. We agree on one point, that the debates are good.
No, that's what
but it cannot be in the electoral law.
And citizens are saying that, look, the people we have in the National Assembly represent citizens. So if I tell my senator today, Oluremi Tinubu, that, Madam, this is what I think the Senate should pass, because I want presidential candidates to debate.
Yes.
Then the people in the audience too are beginning to tell their own senators that this is what I want. This is
where
what
do you want to see your senator?
Where? What do you mean? Where do you want to see? They have phone number. No. You see, this is part. So this is all part of it. And you can say it and dismiss it, but this is all part of it.
These are the things we.
But this is the reality of our politics.
You know, I love idealism. Utopian, circumstances are painted here. Your senator, where do you want to see him? Where do you want to see your councillor? Have you ever seen your councillor?
Because we don't look. Because we don't look. And this is why they get away with it. No, let's be very clear. The first time, and I'll tell you, and I'll tell this story. The first time I called my House of Rep member and I wanted to ask a question, And the person said, who is this? I said, my name is Yemi. What do you want? Are you a journalist? No. Are you a party member? No. I live in your constituency and I have a question. No, you can't be calling me.
Do you have PVC? They didn't ask you that one.
I said, Oga, calm down. But what I realized very clearly is that because of the issues you're raising, politicians are not used to being held accountable. Citizens are not used to holding politicians accountable. And let's not forget, our democracy is 20 years old, so it's a journey. All we are saying is, look, this, if it's in the law, it helps us move closer on this journey. So we're not waiting for another 20 years for it to become the norm.
Do you know what I want to be in the law?
Let candidates come and have a conversation. In Lagos State, for example, let's take Lagos. Lagos doesn't have a law, but there is no person who has run for Lagos State governor who has not appeared at a debate. Why? Because to your point, it's not, and if you want to use your analogy, it's not because the rallies are there or they're not pulling crowds in other ways. It's because they've come to understand it and there's a demand placed on them to appear. And they must appear.
That is progress on her part right now. She said, look, the governors have actually held down debates in Lagos.
In Lagos State.
So it's not totally out of context. How do you react to that?
No, the issue is that the governor in Lagos, especially the incumbents from 1999, understand the dynamics of grassroots politicking. They go door to door and knock.
Nobody has ever knocked.
The politicians are smart in Lagos because maybe Lagos is a cosmopolitan area. The debate is meant for you and I. It's not for the woman selling my stockfish in my 12. So they know. So the debates are meant to satisfy. There are different strata of electorates. So there are. So there's the lowest stratum is the people that vote more.
Are you saying the lowest socioeconomic class, they are not entitled to reason conversation in a language they understand?
Are you saying they are not?
Are you saying they are not entitled to it?
Debates are not the only platforms for reasonable conversations. There are
which other platforms? How many of them? How many presidents? How many presidential town hall meetings?
That's why they don't need it.
So, but you're saying
she live at my 12 market, she's selling to come and start watching your TV on presidential debate.
No, but you are saying there are other means.
She needs to survive on daily means. So,
no, but you are saying
let me take the other means.
I'm listening.
If you go to my 12 market now, you see people campaigning one-on-one to those market people. That is the approach. That is the approach they are using. So when they come, they use keke. They use all kinds of cars. They use all kinds of things. To reach the people, even in the heat and they use boats, they use canoes, they use all kinds of things.
Everything.
That is the stratum they're talking about. That is they mobilize the grassroots. Therefore, you and I,
mobilize them based on what?
For the undergraduates that are Twitter people that you can do to vote for their parties.
Based on what?
Based on what they have their items listed on leaflets they distribute. They engage the people. They talk to them. Some of them are already paying their school fees, so they know what the language they want to hear.
Now he just said something now. That woman selling at mile 12 is busy trying to make money and profit for her business. She might not really be bothered about whatever it is they want to say. I mean, you are saying you would actually make it possible for debates to be heard in different languages for them to understand. But he's still sticking to the fact that, look, she's doing business. She wants to make money. She can't leave there. Even if you're going to televise this translated stuff of yours, you need a specific time to do that. And she's not there to watch it. So what impact would that make?
She can listen. And I keep saying this thing. This is all about evolution. We started debates in 2011. Our first translated debate was actually in Anambra in 2017. Why? Because there was a demand. And we responded to that demand. So you're right. We started off with that. But we realized that people wanted to hear it in language that made sense to them. So please do not dismiss your woman in mile 12. Do not dismiss your person in Alimosho. Do not dismiss your person in Mushin. If you provide content for them in languages they can understand, in ways that they can engage, they will listen. And they're not silly to say that because it's too elitist for them, they cannot make decisions. No. People want people to come to them and tell them, I will do this. So will you let my children go to school for free? How much would you charge?
That is one-on-one. That is one-on-one.
That's one way.
Debate is another way. Go to the market to meet them. That is what you will.
Debate allows you on one stage. So instead of me to have APC come to me, then PDP will come, then SDP will come, and each one that comes.
How many people will wait for them to listen? That's what we are saying.
So if you then have the debate on radio over a finite period of time, I can hear all of this at once. Not because if you're coming to me all the time, you're also disturbing my selling. You understand now? So SDP will come today, you've paused, I've paused selling. APC tomorrow, I've paused selling. PDP the day after, I've paused selling. But if all of them at once, I hear all of it at once, Abi.
When do they want to hear it? That's the problem.
Radio.
Where's radio?
She said radio.
There's no light.
Guys, so push your hands together for them.
There are transistor radios that work on battery.
It's all right, guys.
There's radio on your phone.
Wait,
There's
that's
radio
right.
on your phone.
You run down your phone and then there's no power to charge it at home.
We have to
Battery.
go on a break on this one. Ladies and gentlemen, so far, both debaters are walking on a fine line with a delicate balance. But when we return, it's going to be quite intense. And trust me, the audience will be ready to communicate. You're just right there holding it down, and you are still watching The Big Issue. Welcome back. Of course, you're still watching The Big Issue. Well, of course, if you're just joining us, too bad you have missed out on a chunk, I'm telling you, because it's been quite intense from the very blast. But I have good news for you. You have a luxury of listening to the rest of the show right here, because we are still on that topic that is on the front burner. Should election debates be backed by law? And so far, Yemi and Ambrose have been doing the brawl. And right now, we want to switch gears to the audience as they ask their salient questions for our guests to give their feedbacks. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are still watching The Big Issue. Come on, put your hands together once again. Thank you. All right, I presume you have your questions here already. Who's going to go first? All right, please tell us your name and who you're directing your questions to.
My name is Bayo.
All right.
I want to direct my question to Yemi, but for the debate so far, I want to go with Ambrose. You know, debates actually don't win election. What win election is the campaign. How you are able to campaign to the people at the grassroots, how you are able to, convince them of what you intend to do, when you get, to office. And the question is, presidential debates, is it going to be a law or not? But to me, what I believe we should do is, let's make it a culture, not a law. If you look at what is happening in Lagos State, any gubernatorial candidate in Lagos dare not miss any debate, because it has gotten to a level where it has become a culture in Lagos State. It is not a law. There is no law anywhere, there is no bill anywhere, but it has gotten to a level where it has turned to a culture. So I will want the same thing to be replicated at the national level. Let's make it a culture. Because, debate is a place where you sell yourself. Look at the last one that happened. Fela Durotoye was there. Obi was there. Ekwesili was there. Kingsley was there. But the other candidates were not there.
All right.
My question is this. Does debates, election debate, does it matter? Does it win election in Nigeria? My question is to Yemi.
All right, Yemi, you can answer
just
that.
to provide some historical context, debates are not new. MK Abiola participated in a debate. And for a lot of people, if you listen to people at that time, they said for them that was a turning point in choosing to vote for him, because they had never, they saw him as a businessman. So they were like, what does he have to offer? But he participated in a debate. And there's been a presidential debate for every election that we've had since 1999. To your question, does debates win elections? Maybe, maybe not. But are they important enough in our journey for a democracy? Yes. Because ultimately, to your point, people come to campaign about what they will deliver, but then they don't deliver, which is why we have bad governance. How do people hold them accountable? We leave them. And 4 years later, they come again, they campaign, we dance and dance in a town hall or dance and dance in a stadium, and then they go again. But what debates do, and I think this, for me, why they're extremely important, is that it forces not only the candidates to come prepared, but it also forces citizens to begin to think about what is it that we're getting from this candidate. So it elevates our democracy from just empty promises every 4 years, but for promises that, because you have told me and I've heard you, and again to Mr. Abro's point where he says it's your manifesto that you hold accountable, no. Because if there is a debate and you say in front of an audience that I will do this, I will hold you to that. Unless you tell me that I lied, or maybe I was sleeping, or I didn't really know what I was doing. It happened in the National Assembly. We were voting on constitutional amendment. A serving senator voted for child marriage. And when his constituency called him back, again to counter Mr. Ambrose, people do take their representatives up. This is from Ondo State. They called him and said, we don't understand what happened. Why would you be supporting child marriage? He said, oh, I wasn't paying attention. He prostrated and begged. That's where we need to get to.
Well, hold on now. To further buttress his question, he says debates should be a cultural thing and not by law.
Some things evolve and become culture. And to your point, that's what has happened in Lagos. But some things, you put a law in place to fast track the culture. Because the law, what the law does is makes it here and now. Your culture, you wait for it to evolve, which is, again, why you will think debates are a new thing. Because now is when you are just hearing about it, even though it has been a process. So it is becoming a culture, I believe. But the road is still long. So what people who are advocating for a law is saying, you know what, rather than wait for it to become a culture, let's fast forward the process. Because we think it's important.
Does that answer your question? Come on, in a way, all right?
My name is Funshaw. My question to you is this. How many of us know the manifesto of any political party in Nigeria?
For information, I read the voluminous documents of the PDP, and I read the Next Level. So I'm aware.
Okay.
There's nothing different from 1979. The same thing. Political contenders don't come to tell you what they will do in debates. They tell you in their manifesto sessions. So the manifesto is the legal document. A legal document is better than an oral word. You can say, I was quoted out of context. Our politicians are good at that cliche. I was quoted out of context. When we go back to 2016, the Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton won the debate, but Donald Trump, a Republican, won the election. Because he campaigned to his constituency. He hit their hearts where it matters. Americans are more media literate than we here. So they saw the debate, they saw the Flutuna. Of course, Hillary is an orator. They saw everything she said, she has been in government, she knew every nook and cranny, she knew what to say at the right time. At the end of the day, she lost it. Why? Because that is not the heart of the matter. Do you resonate with the electorate? That is the crux of the matter. And how do you resonate? With your manifesto. Well, your manifesto is what I will do when I become elected. That is what your manifesto. You say, otherwise maybe we don't know the meaning of manifesto. That's what it means. What we are coming to debate to say, if you say anything in the debate that is at variance with your manifesto, you are a fraud. It is your manifesto that is your contract with the people, not what you say in the debate. And so when you sign a contract with me, you tell me this is what I will do, and you come to a debate on national TV and start changing it, then that means you are not qualified to ever run for office.
Exactly.
Right. Does that answer your question? Fantastic. What's your name, sir?
My name is Benjamin.
All right.
So, Mr. Ambrose, I did hear you earlier. You did not disparage the context of debate in its entirety. And if I know that the electoral umpire has cleared like more than 70 candidates for the presidential election, and the body that has organized the election just, singled out 5 people, 5 presidential aspirants. You see, don't you think that if this debate has been backed by law, that these other people would have had the opportunity to also come on to be represented in that debate? That is more than to think of the consequence on those that will not come. Why not to think about the equity that it would have provided for all that have been cleared for that election?
Wow. That is a brilliant
question.
Brilliant question. You heard the question right.
What does the electoral say about party funding? What does the electoral say about candidates putting a cap on what political parties, even INEC had to come to the rescue and say, please, political parties don't sell your form beyond this. What does the Electoral Act talk about manifesto? To the point that in the last election, we had some powerful manifesto from some people, and when they got to government, they said they denied the manifesto. What are those indices? So it is not the problem of the law. It is the problem of our mindset as a people. So there is a constitution, letter of the constitution, letters of every law. And the lawyers will say there is a spirit of the constitution. The spirit is how you apply it. Are you applying it in ethical? Are you applying it as a people? So if we don't have a national ideology, if we don't have value reorientation, we'll continue looting. There will be corruption. There will be manipulation. If you like, put the electoral law in the debate in the constitution, they will manipulate it. So it depends on who you are as a people, and that is why I said you don't treat symptoms, you go to the root cause of the problem. The root cause is that we don't have ideology, and there's no how perfect the law we put in this country. If we don't reorientate our values, we will never go anywhere.
All right, Ambrose has said if we don't reorientate our values, we can't go anywhere. Yemi, has he answered his question? Do you think he's answered his question?
No, I don't think he has. I mean, the question was very simple. If there's a law, would you give people more access? Simple. And I think yes. I mean, the Nigerian Election Debate Group, which is organized, I believe, every presidential debate since 1999, actually used to do it round robin. So every candidate will get an opportunity to debate, and then you'd have the final one with sort of, in a sense, the heavyweights. But I think what they decided for this election was because there were a lot of people who, yes, are presidential candidates, but really they're not serious. They don't have campaign offices, they're not campaigning. So they looked at it and said, why do we want to invest that much money in giving you 2 hours of airtime for you, and you yourself have not taken yourself seriously? So that's also part of the conversation around debate criteria. How do people get on stage so they can sell to the people? But just quickly I think this is a very important note to correct. Hillary did win that election by the popular vote. So the majority of Americans who voted for Hillary Clinton. Right. However, the electoral laws or electoral college of the US, because of historical issues of small sizes, small farmers, some particular states, their votes weigh more. So if you want to do the way we do in Nigeria, a simple majority and then percentage-wise, Hillary won that. And so let's not discredit that. But secondly as well, your point about manifesto. And we've said this point, your manifesto is what you are going to say. The debate allows you to highlight the key issues. You cannot say everything in your manifesto at a debate. But the debate organizers decide, like, okay, what are Nigerians really talking about? They're talking about health. They're talking about education. So your questions are framed around that. So to get the important issues across, you use the word voluminous. Your madam at mile 2 is not reading any voluminous document. But we're saying that a debate in 90 minutes, 2 hours, provides an opportunity to get a snapshot of the heart of the person or the essence of the person and what they want to contribute. So I think that's very, very important. And lastly, the law is not perfect by any means. No society is, and no law does. But what laws try to do is help checkmate and push us in a sense to that. This is given the circumstances, this is the best that we can do. And again, the debate law, why people are agitating for it, and I think that's the important thing we really should take away. We're having this debate in 2019. We didn't have it in 2015. We didn't have it in 2011 because it didn't matter to people then. But now it matters to people. Is why people are saying, why didn't this guy show up? So why are we having this conversation?
Who are the people?
Nigerians.
The middle class and elites.
No. And look, I was in my village over the weekend. I'm from Ondo State, Akure North local government. It was a conversation point.
With who?
With my housekeeper, with my aunt. Yes, why? Because they heard on radio. They were paying attention. And their conversation was not, for those who actually heard the debate, they talked about what they heard. For those who could. I mean, I have an aunt who's 80. She lives in the village, but she's educated. But she has primary school education. Yeah, she's educated. But still, so that's my point. Your dismissal of people, it's not right. Hold on. Those who are even not debated, the question was that Agbokwe Buhari Atatiku Owa.
But what Igbo?
But listen. Hold on. They said they heard.
From who?
But what from whoever, then it's a community, whoever they heard from. Listen,
that's what I'm saying.
Listen. Well, what I am saying is this. You keep making it an elite construct. If the debate were in Yoruba, then they can have a conversation about what they heard. So my point is, if you make something accessible to people, then they will engage it. But if you keep saying that because it is not accessible, that means they don't need it, it's a faulty premise.
All right.
What I'm saying is that, before you go, 19 minutes, 19 minutes cannot give you to explain to people.
But she's
what they are going through, why people even connect to politicians is the jingles they hear on radio, the messages on TV and radio, the interviews on political programs and the rest. That is where the conversation is centered.
But you just said they don't have light.
It is not about the 30 minutes debate. We are not, it's important. But again, why we should bother our laws? Most of the laws we have, are we obeying them?
So because we don't obey them, we shouldn't have
our conscience as a people.
Well, she just said in the manifesto, you cannot be able to pass every message across, but the debate, you'll be able to signpost those key issues to the...
in 4 years, Nigerian politicians are not be able to pass their message. You're talking about 19 minutes.
All right, your question now, quickly.
Mr. Alidu.
Your name is?
Alidu.
Alidu, all right.
Yeah, please,
your question is for him?
Yeah.
Good.
You see, this debate that come up, Nigeria are really, really waiting to listen to this debate before they call it a bluff, the two main contending parties. Two, to me, it's not a good thing to us because people are waiting to hear what they have done. My question is that, don't you think electoral debate is an ingredient that can shape our democracy?
Okay. Is it not an
The first
ingredient?
submission I made here was that electoral debates are very necessary and important.
Necessary.
Very, very necessary and important. Nobody is arguing that. That is not the argument here. The argument is whether it should be made part of our law. I mean, that is what I came here to talk about. And
But
I
if-
said
but if it is
no.
backed by law, then
because
it
it
becomes
is backed by
necessary.
what I said, how
If
many
it's
things are backed
necessary,
by
then
law?
it gets backed by law.
Okay, let's even talk about what is backed by. You talk something about, okay, I only take Nigerians seriously about this election thing if PDP does not win or APC does not win. But if a PDP candidate wins the presidential election or an APC candidate wins a presidential election, then we are back to where we are. Reality. Reality check. Who wins the election? Is it the man who comes to speak all the grammar in the debate and does not have, as she said, does not have an electoral office? By the way, Shawore has been campaigning and he has been serious and he's not there. So, and you have also been doing some the Lagos electoral debates, and some other people have organized their own. What is the credibility of those people organizing? And again, why would, if we are really serious people, why will politicians boycott an election? It's because they know they will get away with it. So what we are saying is, as a people, and what kind of society throws up a people who don't care? We are talking about debate. Some people, they agreed to come to that debate, both of them. Indeed, one of them, the PDP presidential candidate, was in that venue, and he walked away. What we are saying is that Nigerians always treat, even when you have malaria and you treat the headache, have you treated your malaria? You have not. And that is the problem we are having. So if you put it into the law and the electoral debate, that is your problem. If you like, put it into law. What if you put it into law right now in our electoral law? It's not about electoral debate. It's about party funding. That people should not, how did you found the party with government money? Where do party funding come from? And if you control party funding, you can control corruption in the electoral process. That is the most important thing, not whether people come and speak.
Do you agree with him?
I wouldn't go on party funding because that's, I mean, the focus here is debate. And I think there's something really important to highlight here. The two things serve very different formats. I mean, the town hall, for example.
Are you about to answer that question he dropped? He says, look.
No, but I'm saying that, no.
Party funding. He mentioned party funding.
He did bunch, and I'm choosing not to because that's a separate conversation. I want to stay on this issue of why should debates be backed into law.
Right, then.
The town hall meeting and the debate serve different purposes, and they both complement themselves in addition to the door-to-door that you're talking about. But you said something very important. You said people do things because they get away with it. The Yoruba says, because there are no laws, you can't say someone did something wrong. So back to this issue of should debates be part of our laws? If they are part of it, then you can't decide to boycott it because you don't feel like it or you don't think it's important. Yes.
When you see your elder in the morning, an elderly person, you greet the person as a typical Yoruba girl.
Yeah.
Is there law about that?
No.
So you don't need law to do the right thing.
And I said, go back again.
So
People rape young people, and it's the wrong thing
somebody
to do.
Talked about
but you
culture.
need a law to stop it.
Somebody talked about culture.
You can't say that.
Somebody
you can't
about,
say that. You don't need
about
a law.
culture.
No, you can't say that.
As a wealth process, culture is
say
generally
that.
defined from our secondary school as the general way of doing things. Yeah. Although somebody wants a professor decide culture as intelligent manipulation of the environment, but that is on that level. But again, what you say,
people beat their wives. Is that right? Or you need a law against it? Let's be very practical.
I get to the point.
You are the practical person. People beat their wives. Is it right? But so why do you have a law?
Culturally.
But why do you have a law?
But even culturally.
Culturally, is it right to beat your wife culturally?
Culturally, we know that's wrong.
Exactly. But
so
you have a law.
What we are saying that is this.
You have a
there
law.
are some certain things that you don't even need to put into law.
I rest
Electoral
my case.
debate, whether there's a debate or
I
not,
rest my case.
people have platforms to assess candidates and evaluate their performances. They have it. They have the television. They have TVC.
There's no
they have town hall meetings. They have one-on-one. They have different. When Fashola was governor, I remember that town hall meetings were done every quarter in different local government. There are different accesses to these people to evaluate what they are doing.
Fashola because when he was governor. When
you say debates,
all right,
it cannot be part of our law because it's not necessary to be part of our law. We should do it because it is good to be done.
Mr. Ambrose, the person who is challenging Fashola doesn't have the resources of the state to hold quarterly town hall meetings. So therefore, yes, because
why should resources of the state be used for election? That is what I'm talking about, election funding.
Hold on. Fashola is an incumbent governor. If Fashola as a governor wants to have a town hall meeting with the residents of Lagos with state money, he's entitled to it.
Why is he entitled to it?
Because he's talking to Lagos.
All right,
It's
guys.
about politics. It's about his election. He's not entitled to it. You see,
Ambrose,
that's where the corruption
you are
starts.
firing now, but time is of essence. Guys, come on, put your hands together for them. All right, so far you guys have done justice to the, to the discourse, as a matter of fact. But now, parting shots very quickly. I think I'll start with Yemi first. Yemi, you are for the debates. It should be backed by law, by every means. What would be your parting shot right now? Because we are rounding off.
I like the comment the gentleman made about tension. I think maybe you made the comment. So it's not just about selling yourself. It is also about providing an opportunity for Nigerians to watch how you relate with your co-debaters. The fact that some people, if they're hearing one-on-one and all they hear from one party is that all the other parties are bad, they're evil, they're this. But if then they see their candidate on stage with somebody else, then they're like, okay, this
Okay, let's
works.
twist this. Come on, guys, put your hands together for them once again.
We're doing this thing. We're doing this thing.
Well, so far it has been quite interesting, quite intense. As a matter of fact, I believe you've enjoyed every part of it. But when we return, we'll get to hear the parting shots from our amazing guests, and then we'll call it a day. This is still the big issue. You are still watching the big issue. Fantastic. It's been quite intense from the very blast, and you just cannot help but sit down to watch these amazing guests do everything, especially to the topic, should elections be backed by law? Now, we'll be hearing the parting shots from them very quickly. One-liner, Yemi, you have been very emphatic about the fact that, look, we should make it happen. Backed by law, developments will come, democracy would have a bit of some kind of sense of reasoning. So what would you say before we round off?
Laws shape behavior, and I think an electoral debate law should be passed in Nigeria.
All right, then, come on, put your hands together for her once again. Thank you very much. Ambrose, the grassroots man, who doesn't believe that debates can actually, factor out any results from elections and the process from the electorate. What is your parting shot?
Well, the Jews had over 116 laws, and when Jesus was asked which is the greatest among the 116, he just told them, love your God with all your heart and love your neighbors as yourself. Nigerians, love your neighbors, love your country. We don't need more laws to be good citizens. Just be a good citizen.
All right, of course, thank you very much, guys. And of course, guys, put your hands together for yourselves. You guys have been amazing. And that's all we can take on the show today. Remember, we are on air, online, and on your mobile. And all you need to do is follow the handle TVC Connect for latest updates and all the news you desire. My name is Mark Otabo, of course. My handle is right there on your screen. Till we meet again, never you forget that you are always right on the big issue. Thank you very much.